Welcome to First and 15, the only podcast that's trying to get you paid. I'm here with two-time FFPC champ AB. It's going to be live on the clock. Man, this is going to be crazy. Again, I always like to see you draft because it's just interesting to see the process. So I'm excited about it, man. You're picking what, eighth?
Yeah. So I'm here. You're hearing a lot of kind of discussion about where is the best pocket of the draft to, or where is the best, like, what's the best pick as far
Mm-hmm.
as you know trying to build the most optimal lineup or where we think the most value is. And from someone who's kind of like been drafting again since February, and I don't say that as like a sort of kind of touting that. It's just been interesting seeing how ADP has fluctuated. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think that wanting to be okay in the top part of the draft versus the middle part of the draft versus the later part of the draft, to me, has really fluctuated throughout the drafting season. So
mm-hmm.
who knows where things are going to lie when we're in our home leagues drafting, or if you're someone who likes to wait until the end of the preseason games and likes to wait until all the information is out there. I very much feel like everything is still pretty much in flux at this stage. And, now if I have to pick where to draft, I love the eight spot. I love being in the middle of the draft. I think it offers you quite a bit. And then I also like being in the at the very beginning of the draft.
Yeah,
I'm thinking now the later part of the draft is a little bit more difficult because before you were pretty, sure that you were getting either like a Kenneth Walker or Marion Hampton or, even at that time, Travion Henderson in the fifth round. There were a lot of running backs that were falling to you, potentially these like high end studs. We'll see what happens when everything plays out. But now everything is kind of getting pushed up the board. The, first 2-3 rounds now seem just a tad bit more tighter. So
mm-hmm.
it's interesting now, but it's just one of those things too. Again, going back to drafting since February, I've looked at like my teams and like my portfolio, but specifically looking at the teams themselves and looking at the draft boards themselves. And it is funny because in March, there are teams I absolutely love because I drafted those teams in March, right? I'm thinking
Yeah,
I'm building like a very dominant team. And then I go back in April and I'm like, I don't like those teams so much, And now I'm liking the teams that I drafted in April. I'm like, oh man, this team's gonna be dominant. And then May comes around and now I'm not liking the teams in April so much. And then we get to June and I look way back at February and I'm like, oh my God, I just drafted some monsters in February.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and this has been this constant flux because news changes, things happen. Knock on wood, we haven't really seen much in the way of like injuries, but when injuries really start to kind of come into fold, I think things really going to change. So it's just one of those things where, yes, I want to be in the middle part of the draft, and I'm loving this draft pick or this draft slot that I have, and I wouldn't mind being in the early rounds. But honestly, like who knows? We'll find out at the end of the season, the 2025 season, as far as what
Yeah.
was the most optimal position to be in, or where the most value fell. So
So I got to call you out a little bit because in your last main event,
yes,
for those people who don't know, AB is the worst speller in history.
Bruh.
Brilliant position, the worst speller in
And
history.
confidently spelling his horrible spelling.
well,
And
look
confident.
to be fair, I use Siri dictation a lot. I use dictation all the time in the office. So I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. Give me a little bit of grace.
So some of y'all might have seen that somebody drafted undrafted free agent Ricky Person in the 5th round of a main event and not Ricky Pearsall.
It was a sixth
That
round.
was your
It
boy
was a sixth round.
AB. So, like, man, like, have you made a decision on what you're going to do with that team? So, for those of you guys who don't know, FFPC gave him
No,
the
you don't have to
option.
say. You don't
No,
have
no,
to say.
yeah. We're gonna leave that part out.
All right,
We're gonna leave that
all
part.
right.
But
So Abby drafted Ricky Person in the 6th, trying to get
no, in the
Ricky
5th.
Pearsall.
In the
I actually
5th.
I drafted him in the 5th.
They drafted in the 5th,
In the
Yes,
and then you
because I
got
was.
Ricky Pearsall in the 6th.
Yeah, exactly. The crazy thing is, if I would have just typed in Pearsall, it wouldn't have been an issue. But I typed in Ricky, and I think like looking back on what happened, I think somebody else's name, I forget who it was. Somebody else who has an RI to start in their name went off the board. And then so Pearson, I think, jumped up one slot where Pearsall was. I mean, it was crazy. But either way, I mean, going back and looking at the team, I mean, I may have to post this team. I may have to ask the field, but I kind of like this team. Even drafting Pearson in the fifth or sixth round. It was a sixth round. But even drafting Pearson in the sixth round, I think I may keep that team. Though. I think I may roll with it. I think it has a puncher's chance.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, to burn a 5th round pick, like that's.
Yeah, we'll review that draft in a bit. Obviously, we're here on the main event. Hopefully, everybody gets to see the board. I'm locked in right now into my queue. This is a good spot to be in. A lot of ways I can go. I feel like whatever falls to me, I'll be happy with. I can go a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Chris,
given kind of where.
Do I sound okay?
Yep. You sound good.
Okay. All right.
But 8th pick. Like one thing I started doing in drafts is like just seeing you draft so often. It's like getting that queue set up, like thinking about like the next 4 to 5 players that like you kind of want to fall to you. And
who do you want here? You have the 8th pick?
I
hate these middle picks, man.
We live, so like, you can't tell us. Yeah, you can't tell us. We live.
Oh, that's right. We're live. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, you missed that long soliloquy about how like the ADP has shifted throughout the year and how like it is, before being at the back end was great. But now because things are getting pushed up and a lot of those running backs that I was, easily getting well into the middle and late part of the 4th are not going in the 3rd round. So here, a lot of guys I think that are options. Remember at the very beginning of the year, we were like, okay, the 1st round is nice and so many great players. And then as Dale always says, it's a game of attrition. We have a lot of guys who are injured or who have some mild nagging injuries or who now things are kind of coming into fold a bit as far as the team setup and dynamic. So one guy who is healthy, and I think has been a bit of controversy as to how high he should or should not go, is Christian McCaffrey. So right now I think he's at the top of my list. Being in the middle, I feel like I can go a lot of different ways because I feel like I'll be able to get a wide receiver and a running back. And ideally, probably, I'm looking at running back, at least one running back in the first 3 rounds. So here, we're just going to go with Christian McCaffrey. I'm just take the ADP at the stage.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Yeah, I gave some consideration to Malik Neighbors, but why not, try and buy the dip in like in a later draft, given the news that just came out about his injury. Same thing with an Achan. Genty in the last main event that I did, I got in the 2nd round at his same pick. So not to say that he's not worth a pick right there, but I was able to take advantage of a situation where I got a late round Genty, so I passed on that. And then the other guys, I feel like all had the opportunity to fall to me. I also had like 0 issues taking like a Trey McBride there. I just think it depends on how you want to attack tight end. For me, I'm looking at tight end this year as far as really looking at the draft board and the pockets of tight end and how I potentially can construct my draft. I don't want to be left out in the wind and like not get a guy that I'm high on. And those 10, I feel like the last month or so, or last few weeks, they've really been getting pushed up the board. Before, even like a Tyler Warren was a 8th round pick that you could like rely on, and now not as much so. So
yeah, man. Tight ends have really been getting pushed up the board. Yeah. Am I missing? Yeah, but tight ends getting really pushed up the board. Like I feel like once Njoku goes, who that seems like the last tight end that's like really viable to me. That like I feel comfortable drafting. Like once Njoku goes, like it gets real slim at that point. But we may need to, think about some other tight ends, putting them like right there at that tier break with Njoku because I thought, well, I don't want to talk the board. I mean, are we still in there? But
I think Tucker Kraft is still viable. I don't think Njoku is the last one. I think there's maybe a couple others. I think Loveland's actually viable too.
Theo Johnson too. Theo Johnson looked good to me.
He's more of a sleeper.
Yeah,
Yeah, more of a
and the
sleeper.
sleepers are the tough ones because it's hard. Remember, points matter in these leagues. Overall points matters, and that's something that I always have in the back of my mind. So even though the first week may not be as important as like week 15, 16, 17, it does not mean it does not matter. So I really like trying to have at least a good starting lineup entering into the week. I don't want to leave points on the bench or take massive risk and then end up getting a 0 and then like now I'm fighting from behind. So Theo Johnson and starting the first week is risky. A couple of years ago I did that with Juwan Johnson. It paid off, but it was not a smart retrospect. It was not a smart decision. I think he had like 2 touchdowns or so. He had like a really, really solid output for that first game of the season. But again, that was not the most ideal scenario to start him that first week.
Yeah. All right, you almost on the board. So you're starting to load up the queue, right?
Yeah. So right now I got a couple things that I can do here. I have the running back. I don't mind being balanced at this stage. I feel like it gives me a lot of opportunities to go one way or the other. But there are a couple things that we can do here. I think for the most part, I'm probably going to be looking at. Actually, let me not say that just yet.
You got it. You have to take if this dude falls, you have to take him.
Yeah, and Nico's starting to go in that first round. Like, remember we were talking about Nico being in the first round? I think I took him at the 107, and you're like, that's a little early. Like,
you have to, Abby. Come on, man. I'm not even gonna say anything. Do what you want to do.
Oh yeah. This is
now that I have Dale. I'm like, I can't. Anytime Dale says something, it's like
do what you want to do, man. I'm just spectating.
We're going with that. Yeah, we're going with that.
You have to.
And so clearly, obviously, the Matt Stafford situation has been pushing him down the board. So again, right now, the public sentiment and the feeling of taking a Puka is not good. But that's, again, I go back to like our later episodes. We're talking about looking at this as a marketplace, as a stock market, as, this is a stock. Puka is a stock. And when there's not great news, that stock drops. But does it drop past value? Does it become a buying opportunity? And so those are all things that I try to consider and try to leave out the outside noise, because I keep saying, like, I am human. Trust me, I get affected by it too. Clicking Puka is not the greatest, does not feel as good as it does now than it did about a month or 2 ago when we had zero worries about Stafford and people were talking about him, or at least I was, considering him as a dark candidate to finish as the overall number 1 wide receiver. But you buy the dips.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Quick question. What do y'all think about what Team 7 did with Barkley and A.J. Brown, 2 Eagles?
Yeah.
First 2 picks. Like, what are y'all sentiments? Because I've come across that, option as well. And I've kind of done both ways. And I've never felt good about it. So, like, how are y'all approaching that type of setup? Or do y'all just kind of skip it?
It's tough. I think if it's a value for me, I'm definitely willing to do it. To me, this, wasn't necessarily a value, but if A.J. Brown was the best wide receiver on his board and he's high on A.J. Brown, I have no issues with it. I think it just depends on where you view those guys. Those money weeks, it can get a bit dicey. It's good that one's a running back, one's a wide receiver, and you just hope between the 2 of them that they don't like outdo each other. But I think it's viable. I don't think there's an issue with it. If I had, go ahead.
No, I guess I'm thinking about the fact that it's potential cannibalizing each other, right? Like going into those money weeks, you want to have your best players have, those crazy games. And it's kind of hard to perceive a running back and a receiver on the same team having a crazy output. I mean, of course it's possible, but the margin is slim.
And that's why I said that's why I kind of go back to it depends on how high you have A.J. Brown. I think I would not have done it here, but if it was a situation where AJ, I got Saquon late and then somehow A.J. Brown fell to me late, then I would do it. Them going in the first and second round, it's like a hard thing to really feel like you're getting value at both. But I kind of lean with you. But I drafted a team the other day where, because again, the players are just falling, I have Puka and Adams on the same team. Doesn't feel all good inside, but if that's where the board falls, that's where the board falls.
But did you take Adams in the 3rd or the 4th round though?
No, I took Adams in the 4th round.
Okay. Well, then that makes a difference.
Yeah.
So, but you still took Adams like at a discount because he was going in the third round for such a while,
Yeah.
like for such a long
Yeah.
time.
So quick. So I think I asked you guys this in the text. I never really got a clear answer. Where are you guys at with Garrett Wilson? Because remember, Garrett Wilson about a month ago, I believe, was being drafted in like the early second, or not the early, but the late second round.
Late second,
Yeah,
early
he's going like
third.
around the 2-3 turn.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I mean, like but that's what I responded to. Like, I don't really know. Like, I don't have a good feel on it right now. Dio, like, how do you feel about Garrett Wilson?
Excuse me. I mean, I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago. I think that Vegas, or no, sorry, not Vegas, but the player prop for Justin Fields being so low in the passing yard, that actually scared me away from that whole Jets passing game. And I know everybody's looking at Garrett Wilson just being the target hog there. Of course, he's talented and everything like that, but if the quarterback can't get you the ball, and ever since then, there haven't really been much coming out from Jets camp or for what I've seen in preseason that makes me feel more confident in his abilities. And it's not like they have this great OC there that I'm excited about. I mean, all of those things kind of make me a little nervous. Now, if he comes at a discount, obviously I'll take the discount, but he's not a premium pick in my opinion at this point.
Yeah. So what's the discount? I mean, let's just say,
well, like you were saying, he was
round?
going in the back of the second, early third.
Yeah.
Now a discount to me would be, maybe early fourth or just the fourth round in general. If he goes in the fourth round, I'm going to take him.
You're gonna take him. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at this depth chart right now. I mean, Josh Reynolds, Allen Lazard. I mean, there's not many other receiving options to take targets away. So, I mean, obviously that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, and we saw Justin Fields. We saw Justin Fields support DJ Moore and a Cole Kmet that 1 year in Chicago. But I hear what you said. But the one thing I think I liked hearing from Deo, or like not hearing from Deo, was anything about the preseason game, anything really about the camp talks. Because what's been going on in preseason, what's been going on in camp talks, really none of that I feel should have a significant impact on how we value Garrett Wilson at this stage, because all those things we knew prior, and I think
now let me ask y'all this:
one way or the other. Okay.
Let me ask y'all this: if the Jets traded for a receiver right now, does that hurt Garrett Wilson in y'all's opinion? Like, is Garrett Wilson's value strictly because he's the only pass catcher there that's valuable, or are we just betting on the talent, the situation, and all of that stuff? Because that's fragile. Like, they can trade or add a guy in free agency any moment. So, I'm sorry, you're on the clock. My bad.
No, say what you were saying again.
No, I was just wondering, like, if the Jets actually added a receiver to that receiver room, an actual valuable receiver, like Amari Cooper, right? If they added Amari Cooper, does that hurt Garrett Wilson in y'all's opinion?
I think Amari Cooper, a healthy Amari Cooper, I think it does hurt, because it becomes, like you said, a very viable target. But it's also the quarterback. Let me go ahead and take. He's been steaming up boards, but he's been somebody I've been high on. So
okay,
boy, but you've been taking
you used to get him in the fourth, right?
Yeah.
Sure, I had a main event where I got him at the 4 or 5 turn, but to me that very similar. Dave, you say this a lot too as well. So guys come up, but then guys come down. So honestly, when you look at some of the teams, like and you can build some monsters. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at some of the teams that like took a Trevion Henderson in the 5th round, which I think was where he was going before, and then you compare where he's going now, you look at those same teams. The guy that they were taking in the 3rd round is probably now dropping to the 4th round.
Oh my gosh, I did not even see that he went in the 3rd round already. Wow.
Yeah.
I was about to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over here looking like, okay, are you going to get him in the 4th now? Like, no, he's gone.
He's gone. He's gone off the board.
So he's actually jumped Hampton too.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
So what's interesting though, as well, is Tyreek Hill just went, and at one point Tyreek had kind of crept up to the 2nd. And now he's fallen to the back end of the 3rd.
Well, remember the Tyreek going in the 2nd was simply right after that Jonnu trade. Like, for some reason, Jonnu was traded away. Everybody felt like it helped Tyreek immensely, which I never understood that logic. I think he's actually back to where he probably should be. Maybe he went back the other way a little bit further, but this is where he should have been valued even after the trade, in my opinion.
So,
Devontae at 401. That's rare, isn't it? That's.
I've been as long as I've been drafting, I've not seen him ever go that high.
Wow.
Hey, like Rich said, if Chicago traded DJ Moore to New York for Breece Hall, which it sounds really good too. Like we talked about Breece Hall being traded. I don't see it happening. Like that is something that would be crazy. Like
that would cure Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I will say the one thing about Breece Hall, though, I get the trade. If he goes to Dallas, it makes sense. But if he goes to the Bears, I would still have a little bit of worry because Swift is still there. The one thing I haven't seen from Breece Hall in a while is him just breaking that long run. When was the last time you saw an explosive run from Breece Hall?
2023.
Yeah, and it's it's tough. It's tough. So you just saw. So look at the team 11. So you could say, okay, you got, are we getting the value with Garrett Wilson in the fourth? But honestly, it doesn't matter because up until recently, James Cook was going in the fourth round. So you're basically just flip flopping. So none of you just swapped them, right? You just swapped them. So I do try to take that into account. Go ahead.
You could say the same thing for his first and second round pick. There was a time Amon was a first round pick and Nico was a second. He just swapped those two. So it almost becomes a wash.
Yeah. All right, loading up the queue.
See, I hate these live streams because I want to talk to Abby. Like, what is he thinking as it approaches his pick? But I don't want him, to kind of out himself. But I guess we'll just wait.
That was one player that I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. Players in my queue right now.
All right.
Okay, so I didn't have to even consider that. So right now in my queue, I have 2 wide receivers and a running back. Basically, I have the top 3 players on the board right now: Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, Alvin Kamara. So we just had that conversation about cannibalizing, but what happens when a guy falls to value? So this is a tough one for me: Marvin Harrison or Devontae Adams. I could diversify. I could take the value a little bit. I think I'm going to pass on Kamara, just given the team setup. What do you guys think? Because I got 30 seconds and I need quick answers.
I would want to say Adams, but that Puka pick kind of again could make that issue.
And I kind of figured that was going to happen. This would be this. What are you guys thinking?
Marvin Harrison, man, listen, he has the pedigree. They want to get him the ball. First round draft pick. So, I mean, they have to get him the ball this season.
He said no, Chris.
Yeah. He said no. Couldn't do it.
So, FOH out of here, Chris.
Yeah, no. I think 4 teams, if I drafted 4 teams, I probably would take Marvin Harrison on 1 out of 4 of those teams. But you guys know how high I've been on Devontae Adams. We've already had the discussion, what if Stafford misses the year? Mm-hmm. So I feel as if we are getting these guys at a discount at their floor, assuming that Jimmy G or maybe they trade for Kirk Cousins and even Stidham, or not Stidham. Is it Stidham? No, it's not Stidham. Stennett. Benson Stennett.
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett. There you go. Stetson Bennett.
He talking like he's spelling it.
Stetson Bennett. Well, he is a QB3 on the roster.
I got
QB2
you. That's true.
But even he has looked really, really good in his preseason games.
Yeah. I think it's the system, right? Like we're
exactly,
me and you, and I don't know if Chris is in the same boat, but we're betting on that system being fruitful for whoever in whatever role they're in. Like, so I'm not knocking it. Again, my only issue is just the cannibalizing, but I love both players, both options, and I think you got great value. Oh, what I was going to say is you were considering Marvin Harrison and Alvin Kamara. I was going to wonder why you weren't considering Mike Evans, because I guess I'm higher on Mike Evans than you. I know in your rankings you had a lot more players above Mike Evans, so kind of talk me through that.
The early part of the year is going to dominate. This may be a situation where you were right, if not the majority of the year, like at least at the very first 4 to 5 games of the year. But I just worry in that environment, a lot has to go right for Mike Evans to really exceed his 4th round ADP value. I feel like he has to stay healthy. He has to, not meet that age cliff and not fall off. And if he's playing the entire year, which ideally you want, does he have enough to get him through the end of the year? At some point, Chris Godwin's going to come back. You obviously have the emerging rookie in Mecca. and you have McMillan coming into his second year, and you have Bucky Irvin. You have the change in OC. So, we always talk about that game of what ifs, and that there's a lot of what ifs. Players start to fall down my rankings just a tad bit. When Godwin was there last year, he was hot, cold, but he wasn't some guy I think that you were mad that you missed out on when Godwin was healthy. So it's just one of those situations where if I'm playing out the entire year in terms of what's most likely to happen, they're going to have a lot of really good wide receivers, a lot of mouths to feed. And it's going to be tough, I think, for me to kind of bank on a guy who may be in his last year giving us a career year. So I'd rather go elsewhere. But I think where he goes is like decent value. Like I don't think there's an issue with where he goes. I think you can definitely build a team.
Somebody brought up was an elite quarterback in consideration.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Jaden Daniels, fall into the fourth. Normally he goes around like that 3-4 area.
Yeah.
Did you consider taking Jaden Daniels there since he?
Yeah, so I was actually going to drop this in the text chat as far as when do we start to worry about the Washington Commanders in general? Like that entire
I'm already
team.
worried about him.
The fact that we're 2-3 weeks away from the start of the season and nothing promising is coming out regarding
what are y'all worried about? Y'all worried about just McLaurin? Because that's the only piece.
Yeah.
They upgraded they upgraded their offensive line. They theoretically upgraded their running game. Theoretically, they're gonna keep Zach Ertz. He's still there, and then Ben Sinai, he's going to his second year. But in my opinion, everywhere has improved except for just the loss of McLaurin. They did add other receivers. They added Debo. They added the rookie Jalen Lane. Noah Brown, he's actually a solid player, and I don't know how he is as far as health is concerned. They did lose Diami Brown, but were we really worried? Were we even talking about Diami Brown all during the season before the playoff streak he kind of went through? If McLaurin is the only concern we have, and let's be real, man, we've seen this play out every single year. Like like last year, we worried about Jamar Chase. These players, they hold out, and then at the end of the day, once the season starts, they're there, right? They made this CBA so difficult for players to truly hold out. The two ways I see McLaurin playing out is he's either going to be there or they're going to trade him away. And if they trade him, I think they're going to get somebody in return. Of course, I'm guessing that, but I would think somebody would come in return that would be useful. So, in my opinion, I think right now the whole Commanders' offense, I guess specifically the quarterback, is going at a discount because I think once the season starts, everything's going to be fine. But I do understand the concern. But we've been through this, right? We've been through this with CD last year, with Chase that year as well. We always go through this, right?
Yeah, but do you get the feeling that they're going to pay McLaurin?
Well, the trade is unlikely, but is also on the table too as well.
I didn't get the feeling the Bills were going to pay Cook, and they paid him. I didn't know the Rams were going to pay Kyron Williams the way they did, and they paid him. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the voice of reason. Daniel's the adult in the room. Calm the nerves. Don't get too excited. I agree with that. That logic follows. I still just don't feel the greatest about it. But kind of getting back to taking the elite quarterback, I go back and forth with that. I think I have a tier in my mind where if that tier is gone, then okay, I'm pounding the button or hitting the button on an elite wide quarterback. I've been on record, and I still full-heartedly agree with this. You can do a lot and win a lot of ways with QBs. If I don't get one of the elite guys, typically I'm going QB by committee, trying to get two of my favorite late-round picks, and there are a lot of them. So it's nice to get one of structurally, like building a team, drafting, getting one of these elite guys outside of just having an elite guy is, to me, also has a lot of advantages later on in draft because you don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback. Same thing with the tight end. It's scary to get a quarterback and tight end, but then you get to hammer those late rounds and not have to worry about, okay, let me get 3 or 4 tight ends just in case this guy busts. Let me get 2 quarterbacks, or if it's really bad, 3 quarterbacks. I was really hoping Jalen Hurts was going to fall.
I know Team 7 was hoping Jalen Hurts was going to fall. That would have been a stack for them.
Yeah, that'd have been nice for them.
Honestly, I don't even know why Team 6 did. I think they did that to spite Team 7.
Yeah.
Playing a little bit of defense.
Yeah. If Brian Robinson does in fact get traded, like how do you guys see that backfield? Because who do they replace Brian Robinson with?
Come on, you know the answer to that. Let's say that to later, man. Come on. We know
Yeah.
what's happening
You
over
think?
there.
Yes.
Nah, I don't know,
Let,
man.
let's not talk. Let's not talk the board though.
Well, he's
Abby
not
on
going
the
to go
clock.
any. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Nah, I'm about to say because he's not going anytime soon. But
But he's going, and he's
All right,
probably
all
going
right.
higher
So,
today than he was yesterday.
all right. So
all
we're on the
right,
clock. So this is another situation here where I can like consider drafting an elite quarterback in Joe Burrow. I think I'm likely going to pass.
For me, in my
Couple,
opinion, I don't think you can have Burrow on your team if you don't have one of his pass catchers. Because
yeah,
if he takes you to the money weeks, like if you have him as your quarterback, all those other Burrow teams are going to have T. Higgins and Chase on their like one of them on their team likely. So you're going to
yeah.
be competing against them, and I think that's a losing effort. Rashee Rice, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so you're not concerned, or what's up there?
you know, it's really hard for me to pass someone in the fifth round. I
I
did get
wanted
some
to see how far he's
consideration.
going to fall. Yeah.
Yeah, I always want to give that consideration, but then like when
Mhm.
he gets to me, it's like, am I going to be pissed that I did not click Rashee Rice, and then I look back and think to myself, I could have had Rice in the fifth, and then this guy in the sixth. I could have had A and B, or I could have had C and D. And it's almost always where if Rice is in the A and B group, I almost always prefer that over what C and D offers. So, and then the guy that I was going to take here could always fall back to me as well. And to me, like it's really a big tier. This is just one of those risky picks too, as well. It's just a lot of risk that goes into taking Rashee Rice because, as we kind of discussed in the text chain, I mean, we have some educated guesses based on a lot of just good information. If the audience knew the depth that you guys went into, I mean, what Dale was pulling out as far as articles and briefs and and what this arbitrator and judge, like the comments.
Always,
I
We
mean,
were looking at the
always,
last
I
arbitration
mean,
always.
it was intense. And then obviously Chris is a
transcripts.
lawyer, so I'm just sitting back and I'm just like I'm eating popcorn. I'm trying to take all this in, and ultimately, my thing was like, this is just too confusing for me. Maybe it should be, but you know what? Who knows? So who knows? Like he could not get suspended this year. He could get suspended for 10 games. He could miss the beginning of the year. He could miss the end of the year in the playoffs. I don't know. But I do
Um,
know I feel comfortable in him being a wide receiver one when he comes back.
for what it's worth, what the 601? Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's what we doing now. Okay. All right. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, for what it's worth, I've been in some drafts recently, and Rice has gone at about 605, 606 in both drafts I've seen in the last 2 weeks. Um, and I know that specifically because like he was like a pick or two right before I was gonna pick, and I was always mad because I was pretty much getting sniped. But I have seen him fall that far, so there's a chance he
Yeah.
could have fallen to you. I am curious who you would have considered taking there instead. I don't know if they've been picked yet, or if you're kind of waiting not to speak on them because hopefully they fall to you.
Yeah, he went off the board. That's Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
Travis
Okay.
Hunter typically has been falling to the sixth round, so I have zero issue taking Travis Hunter in the fifth, but I have so much Travis Hunter, and I have a lot of sixth round Travis Hunter that I just would try to get him there. But if his value starts to rise, that's one guy that I may rise with, unless I'm just trying to differentiate. But yeah,
I,
Calvin really was a main name I was looking
and
at
I know
there.
we're never gonna know now, but I think there probably would have been a chance you could have got both of them. But
Yeah, it's possible.
get
It's
your
possible.
guys.
But and again, this is kind of one of those situations where I felt like this is such a big tier that I just wanted to make sure Rice was one of those wide receivers.
Hmm.
So maybe ideally, yeah, Ridley then Rice, but I would have been fine with Rice and then whoever comes off the board here. So I'm gonna have an option at Joe Burrow unless his Lamar Jackson team takes it. We do have some best ballers kind of getting
Hmm.
in the draft season now, but this is a tough round. This is a tough round. So a lot of ways I can go here. Guys I have in the queue who likely are not making it back to me: Joe Burrow. I do have a wide receiver who potentially could make it back, but I highly doubt it. And then
Sound
I
like you want
have,
to go Joe Burrow. You don't
and then
want to
I have.
consider maybe getting Mahomes to match up with Rice later?
I'm not huge on Mahomes this year.
Okay.
And honest, and Burrow's nice. I mean, you don't typically see him go this late, but I think this is a build where I'm going to not do that.
Who you got?
especially given that I have Rashee Rice this early on. Okay, so we're gonna go for our first. I wouldn't consider it a reach, just because based on ADP, he's not gonna make it back to me. But to stay on brand, we're gonna go ahead and get
Oh, wow.
Pearsall.
Yeah, get Pearsall.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick. So, 'cause
Yeah,
I've been trying to wrap my mind behind this like very recently too.
yeah,
So, do we think Jennings is coming back?
yes.
Okay. Do we feel like when IU gets back, and it sounded like he might start off on the PUP or IR, which we're talking about 4 or 6 games. When he
Yeah.
does come back, do we feel like he's going to be viable as an option there?
I think he will be viable. Yes.
So once all 3 of them are in place, where do we rank these 49ers? Because somebody's going to probably be the top guy, and somebody's going to probably be left for the scraps, and you know.
Well, and that exact logic I've just sort of kind of worked through my head. So I think early on I was kind of drafting Jennings beforehand, and it was more so just because Pearsall was going late. So I was just more so kind of taking advantage of the ADP. I look back and I had a kind of an equal amount of both. In my mind, I'm going with draft capital. I'm going with the guy that's been healthy. I'm going with the offseason notes and reports of Ricky Pearsall and his quarterback, Brock Purdy, really working together. I'm going with camp reports. I'm going with who can do the most in his offense. Jennings, yes, maybe it was his 5th-year breakout. Maybe he is. But honestly, you look back, he had like a couple of like these spike week games. And then if at least for me, I felt like a lot of the rest of the games were kind of mid. He's not a speed guy. He operates and works well in zones, but for the most part, to me, he's limited in terms of what he can do. And I feel like a guy that can do a little bit of almost everything or a lot of things is
Master of none
Pearsall.
type.
Yeah, and he may be a master of some, not master of all, but he may be a master of some. But I think he offers that team a lot. And this is the one preseason game where I watched, and to me, it looked like Brock Purdy was looking for Pearsall. It looked like he felt comfortable and felt safe. And Pearsall, I just love the way he plays the game. He's got a certain, he's got certain intellect when it comes to running routes, sitting in zones, things like that.
Now, to play devil's advocate again, you said he looked like he felt safe with Pearsall. There was no Ayuk and there was no Jennings out there. I don't even know and I know a lot of players. I don't even know who the other receiver would have been out there.
Isaiah Hodgins, my boy is back.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hodgins is back.
Yeah. So getting to Ayuk. So I think he just had a very devastating knee injury. So he not only needs to come back, he needs to work his way back. He needs to work his way back into the offseason. And in my mind, I hate seeing a joke about that earlier, but in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why would you try to, you have an entire offseason knowing that this guy's not going to be healthy for half the season. You have Kyle Shanahan who can devise a myriad of options when it comes to his just offensive scheme and what he wants to put out on the field. And you have this guy you just drafted in the first round. I don't see the scenario where IU comes back and then he just takes over the wide receiver 1. Maybe like really late in the year, but I don't even buy him coming back that first year off the ACL and being anything what he was, until another year removed. And even last year before he got injured, and there's always this kind of underlying just, negativity that's going on between Ayuk and the 49ers or Ayuk and the coaching staff. And I don't know what to make of that necessarily.
Now,
but
don't forget, last year he was trying to get money too. Like he was one of those players that was trying to get a new contract. Remember, there was the rumors being possibly traded to the Steelers or whatever, and how all of that played out. But then he finally got paid, and I think that's what a lot of people attributed his slow start to. Like he missed all the camp, and then came in late.
We got a question. Gabe 3001 said, "Would you do this trade? He's willing to give up Baker and
a trade in the
for Purdy and AJ Brown." He said,
"Wait, what? This is in his fantasy league? Wait, or this is like real NFL? What are you talking about?"
No, like his fantasy league. So he said,
"Wait, what is it again?"
He's willing to give up Baker and Connor for Purdy
James Conner,
and AJ.
Right?
Yeah, James Conner for Purdy and AJ Brown. He's low on AJ and I'm low on Connor. Baker, my only quarterback, so Purdy is in my lineup.
This is a single QB.
Best player.
Yeah. I'm taking AJ Brown in that. Just
Yeah,
look
I'm
at the
taking
ADP
AJ
boards.
Brown.
Yeah, just look at ADP boards, basically. Look at ADP boards that closely mimic your league and see what the value is. Again, we can go on feelings, and like if you feel strongly, go for that. Trust me, don't let us talk you out of anything. But if you're like questioning it, yeah, I'm happy to offer my opinion. But the other thing too is just look at what the market is doing, and at the very least, just play the market. And if there's like a big discrepancy between those two ADPs and the other two ADPs, I'm definitely going AJ Brown. That's not,
Yeah. Especially given that you get to get rid of Connor in that same transaction.
Is this redraft or dynasty?
I'm assuming that it's a dynasty because he's talking about trades.
The reason why I asked that question is because you also want to look at who has a more long-term value. Connor's an older running back. He probably has 1 or 2 more years of actual dynasty value before his value falls off the cliff. While AJ Brown being a receiver, I mean, his can last a little bit longer.
Brown also has the type of game that lasts longer as well. He doesn't have the type of game where, he depends on speed. He's almost like a position running back. So, with dynasty trades, man, y'all try to get the best players in the trade all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a 10 by 10 for 10, but most of the time, try to get the best player.
Yeah.
Give me a second. My earbud just went out, so I'll be back.
But no, man, like it actually sounds good.
Oh, I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go. So 7th round Joe Burrow. That was a hard value pass.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, at least that guy gets to match him up with Chase Brown. So, I don't hate that. And like you said, it is a value.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to what I was saying before about, okay, he got the 7th round Joe Burrow, but Tyler Warren,
And even in my Travion.
Yeah, so it's it's kind of one of those things where this exact team probably exists that was drafted 3 months ago, but you get your guys, you build your team based off of the information that you have. So
All right, so you almost on the clock.
Yeah, so I got some tough decisions here. Who just went? Jacoby Myers. Okay.
Jacoby Myers.
So I got some tough decisions here. Okay. How much of y'all believe in Evan Ingram?
Man, belief is waning, man. Belief is waning. I'm not gonna lie.
I just haven't heard anything.
Even with the 50-yard.
You know how I feel about preseason output. It's just more so like I haven't seen them really commit to using one tight end a lot. Even though they talk about him being in a joker role, I haven't seen that. I don't even know what the joker role is. Like honestly, I don't even know what that is. I just assume because Jimmy Graham was in a joker role, I think that I want that type of production, but I just haven't really seen much out of Broncos camp that's making me feel like they're making him a focal point of that offense.
Yeah.
And I actually think I've seen them use other tight ends too, which even hurts even more. But
okay, Karen. This is an odd pick.
Oh,
because I could have gone, but yeah,
that's kind of a reach.
It's a little bit of a reach, but his ADP, honestly, his ADP actually right now is a back end or is the early part of the 8th.
Okay.
So reach in the sense of, I'm taking him ahead of ADP, but not a reach in the sense of the likelihood of him making it back was low.
Right.
And
you had 2 other teams that needed tight end, so I understand.
Yeah. And, Team 11 looks like he needs some running backs too. So I could have played that game, but for me, I don't want to not have an elite tight end potentially and an elite quarterback. And we can kind of have the arguments about, finding the later guys, but until you find that guy, you're struggling at the tight end position. I just want to really have somebody that at least I personally feel strongly about being at the very end of the year, someone who can like really pull targets. And for me, that's kind of a close and Loveland type once he gets a little bit acclimated into the system, hopefully anyway. But I want to have at least an elite quarterback and an elite tight end, and then we talked about quarterbacks we can find a little bit later in the draft. So
Tracy went at 7 and 11. That's high, huh?
Yeah.
I think people have boards in a while, but these values. It's like every player's went up.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out who went down because everybody's higher than what I remember them being.
People are scared of Aaron Jones, and then obviously Caleb Johnson. Like the Caleb. See, that's a good place to take Caleb Johnson. We talk about. Where's a good value? Like now's a good value because you haven't heard any camp reports of him like running with the ones or like really not much good. So why are we paying this like 6th round value for Caleb Johnson?
Man, that's still
out the gate. You can't say, Maybe.
That still might be too high because like he didn't even start this last preseason game. Like Kenneth Gainwell started. So if you're telling me he has to beat out not only Jalen Warren but also Kenneth Gainwell, and it might even not be a thing where he's beating them out. Like he's just trying to get his share of the pie. It might be best case scenario a 3-man committee. You taking that high, man? I don't know.
To our discussion about quarterback and Patrick Mahomes, this could be a place where I could take my actual first Patrick Mahomes share of the entire offseason. I have not done that at all yet, but I don't necessarily know that I want to do that just yet. I try to also look at the board. Is this a board that waits at quarterback? Because if it does, then you can get some really, really late quarterback value. We had the Allen pick go early, and then we had Lamar goes where he kind of goes. But then we had a lot of people pass on Jaden Daniels, and we had a lot of people pass on Jalen Hurts. And then all these people passed on Joe Burrow. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. I think it is. If everybody passed on Joe Burrow as many times as they did, I think this is a room that wants to wait now. Either they want to wait or they have specific targets. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I look at, maybe teams that is trying to stack their players with, with quarterback, like team 3 might try to stack CD with Dak. Team 6 might try to stack Mike Evans with Baker.
That's a good call, actually. That's a really good call.
The team right after you might be trying to get Kyler a little later. So I don't know. Those kind of things I look at. But it's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I think I'm gonna go elsewhere. I think I'm gonna go elsewhere with this. What do you guys think about Deebo Samuel? He just went off the board.
I like Deebo.
Yeah, I've been drafting him a lot lately. a lot. I wasn't on him at the early, but his value has really just been stagnant all off season.
Yeah.
And then also Deebo could also factor into ETN.
ETN?
All right.
Yeah, you gotta talk about that one.
Yeah,
So
ETN.
Deebo could factor into the Commander shopping Brian Robinson because obviously, Deebo is known to, take a few carries, in a game. So he could factor in.
Come on, Chris.
But you don't think that they have plans on
we
getting
know
him
what's
some
going
carries?
on in Washington, D.C., man. Come on. Stop trying to give us some
Yeah.
random
Let's relax on.
We know what's going on.
Let's relax on that.
I don't
Let's relax on that.
That's
actually okay. So the guy that went after you, Abby, Jordan Mason, who actually would have thought you would have considered over ETN.
No, because and we just have different thoughts on this, and that, we'll figure out. Obviously the season will play out, and we'll determine who is, who was more.
So you
right
don't like
anyway.
Jordan Mason this year?
No, I don't mind Jordan Mason. I just think he goes very high. To me, he's in a true. I think actually Aaron Jones is still the 1A. I think he's the 1B. I do see him being used in the goal line in between the tackles, but I think they're going to be using Aaron Jones in the passing games. I think he's going to be used during hurry up. He's going to be used on third down. So it's almost like I feel like when I draft Travis Etienne, I'm getting the Aaron Jones version at a discount. That's literally how I see it. Forget about the Tampa Bay, comparison. To me, this is a very common comparison. Aaron Jones, Mason, Etienne, and then whoever you want to.
I've just seen Mason go ahead of all those guys, even as higher than Warren. I've seen him going in the 7th round a lot. So,
yeah.
Theoretically, a good value there, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and none of these guys, again, we kind of go back to none of these guys would have made it back. I don't believe anyway. But I like what I've seen from ETN throughout the preseason. Yes, I'm aware that Bigsby started the game, but I think when people keep bringing up stats about how much more effective Bigsby was last year, I think they keep excluding that Travis Etienne was injured and he was working back from injury. We also forget how young he is. We forget how excited everybody was about when he got drafted. It's crazy. All these guys are I was on, and then now everybody's not really on. Now I'm feel like I'm scooping up the value, or at least I hope it's value anyway. But I like how he's going to be used. I feel like he's going to be used in the pass game. I like what I've seen. I trust, again, I feel like this year more than any, I am drafting offensive coordinators and head coaches above players for the most part. When you look at this team, I'm drafting Kyle Shanahan, McVay, blanking on Seattle's Kubiak, McVay, Andy Reid, Shanahan, Bears head coach. Why I keep blanking on. But you, and then Liam Cohen. So I'm drafting offensive minds at the OC position, at the head coaching position, like teams that have shown that they can or coaches that have shown they can really put together a potent offense and a productive offense. Because I feel like a lot of these players can be. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I saw a question in the chat. I think somebody asked about Charbonnet. They were asking Chris, do you see that question? Somebody asked about
yeah. So did you ever consider targeting Kenneth Walker's handcuff, Zach Charbonnet?
There was a draft, I believe, that we did some time ago. I think we streamed that draft too as well. But there was a draft. There was a draft we did some time ago where I did handcuff Kenneth Walker with Charbonnet. But at that time, I knew what the board looked like. And there were just a lot of players where I felt very comfortable. I was going to be able to get this guy later, get this guy later, get this guy. Now the board really, to me, is starting to contract. And I don't want to be taking a handcuff ahead of guys like a Travis Etienne. Again, we can argue about what he is, but he could be extremely valuable in that system, right? Even a Michael Pittman. I keep saying, I feel like I said this all season. Michael Pittman can obviously lead that team in targets. We talked about Jordan Mason. Who knows what happens with Joe Mixon coming back? So why go for that handcuff? I understand locking up that backfield, but I don't want to pass on other positions. Zach Charbonnet could be, a league winner when Kenneth Walker's out, but Travis Etienne could be a league winner, and I could have Kenneth Walker if Kenneth Walker stays healthy. And I can get another handcuff or multiple handcuffs later. Dale, you can go in, and talk about your thought philosophy on handcuffs, but they're really all the same until somebody gets hurt. We think we know who's going to get hurt. We, assume that players are going to get hurt, but we really don't know. We really don't know. It's really a guess. Everybody's worried about Christian McCaffrey's health, and Isaac Guerrero was getting steamed up boards early on. This is where Isaac Guerrero was going, a couple of months ago, and now every single 49er running back is hurt except for Christian McCaffrey. And I'm not saying that's the way it's going to pan out, but I'm just saying, we can't guess what's going to happen. We haven't even played games yet. And then, and he's the only healthy running back on that roster.
Right. And Guerrero was going with 9th, 10th round for a while.
Yeah. It was kind of him and Charbonnet that were going back to back with one another as far as handcuffs. So it's just one of these things where I'm not going to sit here and try to guess who's going to be, who's going to do what, or those are just games that I don't want to play.
Well, I think the thing with Charbonnet at this point is now we have a little bit of information as far as Walker missing so much practice time with the foot injury, and they've actually been playing Charbonnet, and we know that system looks like they want to run the ball a lot. So I think that's really where a lot of Charbonnet's recent increase in value comes from. But if all that wasn't the case, and a lot of this stuff we end up forgetting about once it's week one, right? These offseason storylines, they just totally disappear once the real bullets start. So if everything was even, would Charbonnet still be a good value there? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And you look at Kubiak's system more than me, Abby. I don't know if Kubiak likes to use multiple backs, or if he just kind of likes to find his one workhorse and run him in the ground, as needed. So
yeah, I'm sure he bases it on his personnel, but I think that team wants to run the ball so much that they essentially will be able to use both of them. And I'm sure Zach Charbonnet will kind of have his flex type value. I don't draft flexes or players for flex value. That's one thing I just don't do. I'll draft Zach Charbonnet with the idea.
Even mean, though?
Flex value just means that I think you hear it, at least when I listen to whoever I'm listening to or reading whatever. Sometimes people term a player, oh, this is a flex value type player. You can start him in a pinch, or he'll give you flex value worthy points, get you 8 to 9, 10 points. I don't draft players like that. I don't like to draft players like that. But I will draft a Zach Charbonnet from a standpoint of this guy could potentially be a lead workhorse back should something happen to Kenneth Walker. All right, so we're going to go down the board here with this one. So even at this stage in the draft,
my client,
your client, even at this stage in the draft, I wouldn't have drafted Zach Charbonnet in the 9th round. I haven't even gotten to a point in the draft yet where I would have considered Zach Charbonnet.
Are we going to talk about Quinshen Judkins at some point on one of our shows? Because there's stuff we got to talk about with him, man.
I thought we talked about him a little bit on the episode with Theo.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about him since he's been pretty much all the charges been dropped.
Yeah. I think at this stage in the draft, you need to like just why not? Like I mean, why not? Like well, we can't forget about his draft capital.
Well, two things. Number one, he hasn't signed yet, right? Like I mean, it's been about a week now, right? It's been a little bit of time. He could have signed at any point. I even think they signed already Isaiah Bond already. Judkins still not signed. And number two, I heard he's still under review from the NFL. Like they could still suspend him. You know, there doesn't have to have any kind of conviction to suspend players. So that's kind of still, you know, over everybody's head. And he hasn't been in camp at all. Like he hasn't practiced at all. And you know how it is, man. It's like you miss enough camp or practice, and somebody else starts showing how good they are, and you know their ability. Yeah, you know, you could possibly Wally pipped, or they could just kind of take more of the pie than initially expected.
So I'm gonna get the devil's advocate. This is like what I truly believe. Okay. One, like they drafted him second. They didn't draft Sampson second. They drafted him second round. A team with a lot of needs. They already had Jerome Ford. They know what they have in Jerome Ford. They still felt the need to not only draft Quinshen Judkins in the second round, but then to turn around and draft Sampson in the fourth round. So that kind of tells me what they think about Jerome Ford. But then between Quinshen Judkins and between Sampson, that tells me what they kind of think about them. And I get like a lot of things can happen in camp, but he hasn't been in camp. And when he was in camp or when he was in OTAs, you were getting a lot of rave reviews. Even the beat reporters were saying like, you can see the difference. And I think all of them were expecting him to like be the workhorse back.
What?
Like he looked like the workhorse back. He looked like the Chubb replacement. Like he looked like he is the Chubb replacement. Not that he is Chubb, but that he was a Chubb replacement. So if I'm the GM and the head coach and the owner, like I spent a second round pick on this guy. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, thank God that situation got squared away. No charges. Let's get back to work. Yeah, there may be a little bit of a ramp up, but that's the beauty of like drafting him like in the 9th, 10th round. I don't have to start him at all right now. I can let him like do whatever Cam Scatterboo's doing or whatever Bashar Tootin is doing or whatever all these other guys. I can let these guys do what they do, you know, as far as working their way up the ladder potentially throughout the season. And then come week 5, week 6, when he's been in camp, that's when you have that Quinshen Judkins in your lineup. So
right, but again, then goes back to my first question. Then why is he not signed yet?
He's gonna get signed. I would assume so. If he doesn't, then it's a 9th round pick. You know, take swings.
That's
and good. Now you can finally talk about the boy. You can finally talking about him.
You done set his new ADP, man.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, you reach, and sometimes you may look back and be like, okay, yeah, I took him about 4 or 5 rounds.
I don't want to call it a reach because, again, if that trade happens,
exactly,
he's the guy. He's the guy.
Exactly.
He has to be the guy. You not picking him up that high is straight denial at that point. Yeah. And the only reason, let's be real, the only reason they're even probably talking about trading him is because of probably how well Krosky Merritt is performing on that team right now.
Exactly. So, Bill is what they
call
it.
Is just I want to see how far he could fall before.
I did too. Selfish reasons because now he's my number 1 owned running back percentage wise. So I want to be able to claim that like JCM is my, so now, you know, I got receipts that like, you know, we've been on him. And that, you know, that a large part of that is Dayo too. Cause he was the first one to like bring him up on the pod as far as the dynasty. Yeah. And anybody that's listening to this, you know, go back and listen to those earlier seasons because even guys that aren't relevant now, they're going to be relevant and being comfortable about them.
G, I see that comment. Hey,
what do you say?
Still.
You said you got to steal?
No, bro. When draft started, I got Krosky Merritt like in the 17th round. Like So I mean, hopefully it plays out well. But hey, Krosky Merritt gang, Steve G, I see.
Yeah, some prominent figures are floating it out there. I've gotten to the point now where when things are floating on, you know, out on Twitter from like actual prominent NFL analysts, I no longer believe it's like that they have some inside info. I believe that they are fed info to get the information out there so that the entire league is aware, whatever parties they want aware of the situation, you know, as opposed that way it doesn't feel like it came from the team.
Abby, you have a quarterback you're targeting, or are you just trying to see how everything plays out? Like, what's your plan?
Oh yeah, honestly, like not even like considered quarterback yet, or I haven't thought about it. Like it's like not crossed my mind.
You haven't thought about a quarterback, the most important position.
Well, not that I plan to get a quarterback. I plan to get multiple quarterbacks, but yeah, I'm gonna let that fall to me. Like we talked about before, we may be in a room where quarterbacks fall. So you know, I really dislike when team two, it's his prerogative. But come on, you got Josh Allen. You really need to grab Dak Prescott.
Oh, team two has Josh. I can't see the top of the board, so I didn't realize they had Josh Allen.
Yeah, they had Josh.
They doubled
Allen.
up.
They doubled up.
Okay.
So that's less than ideal for the rest of us who are like playing the waiting game of quarterback, but he's just one of many.
He probably wants to stack up George Pickens with Dak.
Possibly.
And Ferguson.
Yeah, but I may start, considering quarterback here soon. So
I'm not trying to nudge you in any certain way. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Your approach.
It's getting to about that time where you start considering it. There are likely a couple of other players I'm probably considering.
What other teams are needing quarterbacks right now?
That was one of the players. Keenan Allen, I like that. This guy. So this, I think this is a first look drafter. I mean, he did have Jeff, Ferguson and Pickens, but yeah, you feeling kind of sick that you spent a early third round pick on Josh Allen, and then.
Chris, those last three teams, 10, 11, 12, do they have quarterbacks? No, right? Okay. So the whole back end of the draft needs quarterback except for one team 9.
Yep.
Dylan Sampson. That's funny how that flipped, because Sampson was going way higher than Judkins for a little while.
Both him and Ford.
I bet Jerome Ford's not even being drafted anymore, huh? Has he dropped off?
Because I don't expect Judkins to be available for the first game, to be quite honest. So. Yeah, we'll see with quarterback, but I may not hit quarterback for a while.
All right, so you're thinking about potentially going quarterback here. You also will you think about some tight ends as well? But you're clearly going to double up on tight ends, taking tight ends this late, right? But you're going to take a stab at a few tight ends, right?
Yeah, but there are a lot of tight ends that I like late. The tight ends that I like that don't get drafted. Like he just took Goddard. I mean, I may have considered Goddard there, but
Goddard gives you the first look too.
He gives you the first look, but I was really hoping that this guy would fall to me. So
yeah,
Christian Kirk was
there we go.
Yeah. And I kind of like how I built this team too, as well, as far as, okay, if Rice is out, I have options. I got a lot of options there. I got, we talk about going into the season. I want to go in the season with Warriors. Not just dead weights or guys that just going to be on the bench, just roster cloggers, but guys that could potentially really win me leagues. That's why I like waiting really late to draft those handcuffs, unless it's an aggressive 0 RB build, because those handcuffs are just you got to hold them, or else you just spent a draft pick on them and you dropping them after week 1, week 2 to try and fill out your flex position. And I just hate that. I like guys that I can okay, I got 20 guys. Any of these 10 guys can be my starter during any given week. And I can play positions, I can play injuries. We forget it's not just injuries that happen to these players, but if somebody else goes down, then that guy becomes a league winner. If Austin Eckler gets hurt and Brian Robinson's gone, Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt probably getting ranked top 10 running back, based on that type of offense. So these are things that I kind of consider. Same thing with Christian Kirk. If he ends up being the slot role in this offense, it's something that's very valuable in fantasy, and he goes against a matchup where the slot corner is like a very favorable matchup, like he may be my flex option. So I like having that. That way I can maximize the amount of points throughout the season. Start sit, and should we get the announcement? Yeah, that we're gonna be. Nah, let's not get that announcement just yet. But start sit decisions are very important. Like they're very important. Like we don't even talk about those, but like that may be the most important thing that you can do, because you could have the best team and just have 500 points sitting on your bench at the end of the season because you made the wrong start sit decisions or you just couldn't fill out your lineup.
We in the middle of the draft, man. So whatever announcement you're talking about, it's probably a good time to do it.
What'd you say?
I don't know what announcement you're referring to, so I'm actually.
Just.
All right, so we finally got it filled. Listener league. So we got the listener league up. We got it filled. Everybody. Funded their accounts.
Oh, I know what you were talking about, Abby. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like that.
Under promise, over deliver. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but like listener league is going to be Thursday, August 21st. At 9:00. So yeah, we're good to go, man. We're good to go. We got our draft positions too, right? But did they?
Yeah.
So Dio's won.
In the middle of the night.
number one.
I was number one last year too.
Yeah.
I took C-Mac and he killed me.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So we see Team 12 here took Jalen Wright. How are we feeling about Jalen Wright these days?
Not great.
Not good at all, man.
Okay,
it's cool. I text y'all in the group chat like 3 days ago, like, is it Ollie Gordon's running back too, or Jalen Wright?
Possibly.
I didn't even watch the game.
Yeah.
And I put in our group chat, like, everything in Twitter was just talking about how horrible Jalen Wright looked. Like, I didn't go back and actually see what happened, because every Twitter comment was about how he was trash and how, we need to give that up, and Ollie Gordon's the new number one and all this stuff, or the new number two.
I would say I'll say some of it is a bit unfair. I think.
Did you watch it?
Or unjust? Yeah. Because I mean, sometimes like that may be the play where the line blocked perfectly. Like there was one Ollie Gordon run where it was like blocked perfectly, and then other times it's like Jalen Wright, like at the goal line, and like the defense is the goal line defense. Like so sometimes I feel like some of these plays just run together and just like are not favorable for certain running backs. But obviously, Achane is hurt right now. So this is very, very important. This is something to follow. And Wright hasn't done, or I should say, has not shown anything amazing, that we've seen. I've heard some good things at times during camp, but we haven't like actually seen anything just yet. So I had like a list of quarterbacks. Yeah, so I saw a list of quarterbacks that went, but some teams will still double up. We just saw a team that doubled up earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my quarterback. I would have considered a Brenton Strange there, but like I said, I got a lot of late tight end options that I'm considering, and I'm okay with Loveland as he progresses to becoming the top 3, top 5 tight end that I have him at. Okay.
Did you make the pick?
Yeah.
I'm having an internal monologue.
All right. But before you talk about Brock Purdy, we got another question. Yeah. So you obviously draft a lot on FFPC. What a lot of people don't know is that you still have like your college league that you
we'll be in Vegas.
Go to Vegas and draft in. And all of us are going to be in Vegas for opening week. So, we'll talk about that more once we get closer to the season. But, how close do you stick to, FFPC's, ADP when you're drafting in, your home league? Or is that just, out the window?
Oh, yeah, no, it's out the window because my home league, number 1, is not tight end premium. 2 is Superflex. And if any of you guys are in Superflex, it's just, drastically different. And then each Superflex league,
it's so much more
it is so much more fun. Like honestly, all leagues should be Superflex. They should all be that's because not only does it give more weight to probably the most important position or the position that really dictates so many of the other positions, but it also allows so many different ways to construct a team.
To build, yep.
Yeah.
And rankings, the rankings
nope.
you see everywhere.
Yep. Nope.
Superflex ranking, so the board crazy. They just kind of look all, and it depends on how you value your team. Like some people value quarterbacks because of Superflex, and some people are like, I could take quarterbacks late because I'm just trying to fill those slots. So it makes it a lot more fun in my opinion.
Yeah. Like that's how my dynasty league is.
Yeah. One thing I used to do, so one thing I did in that league, you know, especially like if you have any league with any kind of like unique format or where it's just like all bets off, like nothing seems to conform to the
Index
norms.
of suspicion said Cap. He must not like Superflex.
He probably struggling in Superflex. Come find us in the FFP street though. We need to get another list look there going. No, but for Superflex, like or any league that's like got a little bit unusual settings, the best thing or what I found like the best advantage was is just kind of have a general sense of what was going on. Is I would go back and like look at the like last 4 years and then see how many quarterbacks typically go in the first 3 rounds, how many quarterbacks typically go in the first 5 rounds, and then that way I had a good sense. And it was crazy because when you look at like that data, because it's the same 12 guys, there's trends throughout, and for the most part, it's like basically +1, -1 year in and year out, but almost the same amount of quarterbacks going to first 3 rounds, almost the same amount of quarterbacks going to 5th and the same 5 rounds. So I would just sort of kind of plan that out in my head. And that helped me out because the hardest thing in the Superflex league, especially like if you like have a strict clock, is like, oh crap, like 10 quarterbacks just went off the board. Like, you know, what am I going to do now? Or like, you know, dang, the running back run just went. Like, what am I going to do now? Do I get that second quarter? So it's good to just sort of kind of have a plan of, okay, I probably should have my second quarterback by this time, but, you know, anything can happen in drafts. But
another thing that I know he didn't ask me the question, but another thing, the big difference between like a home league and FFPC is, you know, FFPC, there's no trades. It's a lot larger roster. Like you have 10 or maybe 12 bench spots. While usually in your home league, you probably have like, you know, 4 to 7. And you're able to trade, you know, and also with home leagues, you're not so much worried about handcuffing your guys or getting these backup running backs because they're always going to be available on the waiver wire, right? While FFPC, you got to hoard them because if you don't draft them, you're probably not going to get them. You know, I mean, you know, it becomes a lot less of a chance to actually kind of, you know, acquire those players. So there's definitely a much different strategy, in my opinion, with FFPC than home leagues. And from when I do play my home leagues, I'm always trying to get my guys and just kind of throw strategy out the window because everything else can be kind of figured out later.
So here's another question. Camden Harris talked about your process for drafting quarterbacks. He drafted C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence, but Drake May is still available. I'm assuming that this is a slow draft, but he's asking, should he pick up Drake May? Like, how do you feel about drafting like multiple quarterbacks like that and kind of hoarding quarterbacks?
Daniel made the comment earlier, and I've said this plenty of times, that is the most important position. That's the position that scores the most points. And it's a position that I feel like we don't really give enough love to or attention to. And so if I draft one of the other guys and spend that amount of draft capital, it's because they are worth it. It's because they provide high upside, but consistently. And so and it allows me to be able to roster more quarterbacks. But if I don't draft one of those higher guys, I'm going to take multiple stabs. And I want to learn and know as early as possible who I'm going to be able to rely on and in what type of situations. And oftentimes what happens, and now that we just have all of this analytics, we have Vegas lines, we have, you know, we understand defense matchups a little bit more, is now you try to have a quarterback by committee that will hopefully score in a top 5 points per game, you know, type of situation where, you know, maybe it's between Fields and Brock Purdy or Prescott and Fields. But between the two of them in the right matchups, when I start them, my quarterback my quarterback by committee is going to have like a top 5, top 7 points per game compared to the rest of the quarterbacks in the league. So I'm never just drafting a quarterback and then just like leaving him in the starting lineup and hoping he's the guy and then I just have bench quarterbacks. I'm drafting multiple quarterbacks because one, I need to make sure that the quarterbacks that I have are consistent and reliable and will get me, you know, hopefully 20 points per game. And then 2, I can play the matchups with these quarterbacks.
Real quick, Chris, before you answer that question, real quick, Abby, how do you rank Drake May, C.J. Stroud, and Trevor Lawrence? If that guy had to make
Drake May for sure, and then C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. I'm T-Law and then Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I'm always going to gravitate.
T-Law and Trevor.
Trevor Lawrence and then C.J. Stroud, distant third for me. I'm always going to take the quarterback that has the highest running upside. And then we did see C.J. run a little bit in the playoffs, and I love seeing that. And you've heard a little bit of talks of that, but still, it's something that like he has to that's a mental hurdle for a quarterback if that's something that you're not accustomed to doing. It's something that you can work on for sure, but if you're not accustomed to scrambling and picking up picking up yards here or there when a play breaks down, then it's something that you have to work for. Whereas Drake May, that's what he does. I think he led the league in scrambling yards last year. They may potentially, have RPOs and designed rushing plays for Drake May this year. So that's an easy one. And then Trevor Lawrence also has legs and he also has wheels. And he's a sneaky guy with rushing upside. And I just love the offense that he's into as well. So I'm definitely considering all of those options when it comes to drafting quarterback. So, could take a quarterback here, but I'm definitely going to wait. When we're talking about tight ends earlier, as far as, waiting and guys that I liked a little bit later, this is one guy that I have just been kind of taking as the value has fallen because he's coming into the season injured, but his ADP was going much higher. We don't know what's going to happen with Baltimore, but I like taking guys where in the right situation, they can, easily be a top 10, top 5 tight end. And so we saw that from him last year. Obviously, he has Andrews there, so he needs the right situation to happen, but he has the upside there. There's other guys there that I consider too as well, but I'm shooting for upside here.
All right, so quick question, very quick. Doc Love JS said, "Do you think that it's a coincidence that none of the past 8 FFPC redraft champs, and that's across the main event and the big gorilla?" So he's talking about the last 4 years. None of them have taken a running back in the first round. Do you think that's a coincidence or a structural edge?
I think it's a coincidence. I mean, there may be a trend there. Going back 4 years, to me, that's just not enough to have anything of statistical significance where it's really going to alter what I do. Because at that stage, then basically you're arguing, don't take Bijan Robinson in the first round, don't take Jamar Gibbs in the first round. And then who are we moving into the first round? Honestly, the easiest thing to do if you're asking what's the best structural build is just to go back and look at the 2024 draft board and try to, you don't have to necessarily have some objective way of doing this, but just subjectively go through the draft board and say, okay, wow, ADP had Jamar Gibbs as a round 3. He should have been going here. ADP had this. He should have been going here. But I do get that running back is easier position to fill out. We have these rookie running backs that we may be getting a discount on. We have younger running backs that may ascend. So I get that. But I feel like you can win in a variety of different ways. And obviously we saw last year where running backs, where you wanted running backs to really dominate. And those, it was Barkley, Henry, and I forget who else, and Jahmyr Gibbs. All those guys were going to second, third round. None of those guys were going in the in the top first
or the first round.
They do. They do.
What time do they play?
I think they're playing right now, actually.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just saw the Kyle Monangai pick. That seemed a little odd, right?
No. Normally, in the comments, is Caleb actually going to play tonight? Rubio said that. So I was curious.
That's a good question. Yeah. No, let me go ahead and get the game on because you'll be in these drafts and something will happen.
Right.
I can't imagine what happened with Raheem Mostert when Ashton Jeanty took a fall.
And it looks like Caleb is playing, by the way.
Okay, that's good.
But hey, here's another question. The big homie Jimmy said, rank your mid-range tight ends around 6 through 7. So I want to go back up on the board and kind of scroll that back up a bit and look at round 6 and 7. I know you're on the board, AB, but if we're gonna rank that round 6 tight ends, how do you guys sort of rank those tight ends? Let's just say just who's in round 6 right now. How do you guys rank round 6 tight ends?
So round 6 tight ends. So round 6 through 7. So basically, right now you're looking at T.J. Hockenson, Travis Kelce, Tyler Warren, Evan Ingram, Mark Andrews, and David Njoku. And I'm pretty sure I have my rankings out, right? Actually, these are updated rankings. Let me pull those up right now. So as far as my rank, I'm on the clock right now. Let me Daniel, you take. Actually, but before we get to that, I'm gonna let you guys make this next pick or influence this next pick. So obviously, my current tight ends, one is probably not playing the first week, and the other is a rookie that may just see limited time. So a player that fell back to me was Zach Ertz, older
There you
guy,
go, lovely.
a little bit of targets. Do I go ahead and draft a Zach Ertz, or do I shore up other positions like the quarterback, or maybe just go wide receiver?
You know where I'm gonna say.
What quarterback would you take here?
I'm gonna just take him now because
just take the quarterback.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. And this is a guy that I feel like I've kind of come around a little bit on, just because I'm starting to hear more and more about how he wants to use his legs, how he's a little bit more healthy. The dude has a rocket arm, and earlier in the season where I was worried about his receiving core, now I look at his receiving core and he has obviously.
Bro, who is this running back the Bears have out here right now? Number 35.
I need to catch up.
I don't know, but Quinshen Judkins looked pretty good.
But
the game already started?
Is a Roshan or Swift hurt or something?
They're probably not playing Swift. I haven't heard anything about Roshan. I don't know what's going on with Roshan.
Hankins. I don't even know who Hankins is.
Are the starters out?
All the starters are out except for the running back.
Yeah. So let me because before I forget to answer that question about the tight end. So I do have my tight end rankings out. We'll post those at some point. But if I had to rank these tight ends right now, based off of kind of what I have right now, I'm just go to the top 10 tight ends. So I have McBride as my number 1 tight end, Bowers 2, Kittle 3. Yes, there's a little bit of change there, but that's the top tier. So that's a completely different tier. Then the next tier for me, I have Njoku, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, TJ Hawkinson. And then the tier following that is Sam Laporta, Evan Ingram, and Travis Kelce. So that's kind of.
You have Hawkinson over Laporta?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fight you on that one. That's kind of more of a field type thing.
For what it's worth, though, I probably would have went Ertz. I think Ertz is going to be good this year, or I think he's going to be productive. He was productive last year too, right? Like, he was real productive. And with us not having T-Mac in camp and y'all concerned about that offense, and again, I think the offense is going to be fine. I do believe Daniels is a good quarterback. Yeah, that's a safety blanket, right? Like,
but my only like drawback to that, or my only rebuttal to that, is the addition of Deebo Samuels. I feel like they operate in very much the same space, and Zach Ertz is a safety blanket, but he's not a very explosive safety blanket. Like he's like a catch it, and
But I guess the Ertz play would have been get something steady right now until Loveland figures out.
Loveland is playing the first snap of the game. Yeah, okay, he got the first. Okay, he got the first. Okay.
Out there except for the running back. They
have some out there. Well, look, I love seeing that. He got the first catch. He didn't have to come out the field that quickly.
Komet is playing though. He is kind of rotating in there, so
I think they're gonna run. Yeah, they're gonna run the 2 tight end set quite a bit. I think, but yeah, I get you. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a lot of Zach Ertz. I probably should have maybe given that a little bit more consideration. Ooh, big commit catch. Yeah, I'm a little bit on a delay here.
I just need to know what's going on with that running back. It's gonna bother me. So what's your roster construction right now? 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, and what are your running backs and receivers looking like?
I have 5 wide receivers: Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Rashee Rice, Pearsall, and Kirk. and I have 5 running backs. So pretty even build across the board. Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention. Aubrey was taking a 13-12.
I should agree with you as far as trying not to reach on those kickers. It's fun early on when you like are looking at the board and you're like, oh man, there's so many guys that I want to draft that are going undrafted. But you're kind of getting down to crunch time now, where it's more like all these guys that I want are now being pushed up the board. Now
you got to start taking your guys.
Priority.
Man. You got to start taking your guys.
Yeah, let's take your guys season for sure. Let's take your guys season for sure.
And where you have 1, 2, 3, you have 4 picks left of skill guys because the kicker and the defense.
Yeah.
And I always say that last pick, your specialty guy. Again, you can do what you want to do, but that last special skill player has to be somebody you're okay with dropping before the season starts, right? Like somebody you're just trying to see how camp is playing out in preseason. But if you're trying to pick up somebody, you're gonna have to drop somebody. It's usually gonna be that last player you drafted.
I always talk about like sometimes is that close to Loveland again? Oh, I'm not okay.
Oh, you really far behind, bro.
Yeah,
like you
really late.
Like,
y'all could have mentioned this a lot earlier.
You really late.
I'm a little upset y'all didn't mention this a little bit earlier.
But hey, Jimmy, so one thing, just looking at AB's rankings, it looks like he has Tucker Kraft at tight end 17. Answer that question.
Yeah, I'm one of the lower ones on Tucker Kraft, but that's consider these like redraft, managed league type, rankings from a standpoint of you have to make a decision on who you want to start week in and week out. Kraft and best ball, great. But like having to figure out when Kraft's going to have a good game versus when he's going to have a bad game, when Golden's going to have a good game, when Reed's going to have a good game. It's not that I don't even want to deal with it. I just feel like it's very, very unpredictable. And so those are things that like I don't really want to set myself up in a managed league where I'm, having bench points that really could have made a difference. So here, a couple different guys that I'm looking at right now. I could go quarterback or I could go wide receiver and running back. I think I'm going to go with this guy. So I picked this guy probably because I actually wanted to talk about him a little bit, but
I like that. I like that.
So yeah, so I sent that picture out. I think it's Nathan Janke, or actually it may have been someone else. But one thing that's been kind of interesting, getting lost in all the Emeka Egbuka love, and trust me, we've loved him throughout the entire offseason. But getting lost in all of that. Wait, who's number 14? Sorry, I need to turn this game off.
Zacchaeus.
Yeah, Zacchaeus, yeah. But getting lost in all the Emeka Egbuka love is the fact that he hasn't really been running out of the slot. He's been running Mike Evans, I guess, X role is what they said in the offense the last 2 games. So it's not to say that like Emeka is going to be a backup and Jalen McMillan is going to be the starter, but McMillan, it sounds like, has been playing the Z role, and I think they've been having Shepard in the slot, which is just odd to me, right? Because if we're expecting Chris Godwin to be out and we're saying that Emeka is going to take over that slot role while he's out, why wouldn't you have him running in the slot?
But that's the problem.
Getting those reps the first 2 weeks.
They never said Egbuka is taking the Godwin.
Exactly.
We've all assumed that.
Exactly.
They haven't said anything at all. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
exactly.
They look at Egbuka as the successor to Evans. I mean, Evans doesn't have that many more years left.
Exactly.
So maybe they're showing us the reality, and we're just not trying to believe it.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, then is Egbuka a good pick? Like what? If we knew Egbuka was the direct backup to Mike Evans for this season, or at least going into the season, would he still be valued where he's valued now, or people are just going to bet on the talent and the cream rises to the top?
He would not. He would not be going where he is going now.
Okay.
I think people are assuming that he is playing the Godwin role right now, and that he could potentially take Godwin's slot position. Because I keep going back to this when we like correct for guys who are going to be out for a period of time, but then not like, it's kind of going back to your Pearsall take. But to me, one of the bigger differences, at least I know it may not be a difference for you, but that knee injury that Ayuk had, multi-ligament, is a really, really just nasty injury. And not that the Godwin injury was not bad in itself, but these guys are coming back. So taking Emeka in the 6th round is basically you saying that he's going to probably be the second leader in targets throughout the year, right? And more importantly, in the back half of the year. But is Godwin not going to come back because he's not going to be healthier, or are you betting against him not coming back? Because if you are betting against him not coming back, that's probably still technically the losing bet. Probably greater than a 50% chance that he does come back than that he doesn't come back. And then you got all the stuff that we talked about regarding his role. So getting back on the clock, let me go ahead and take my play. So this is another, people call this a reach, but this is, again, get your guy season. And it's no surprise. You guys are going to find out very quickly. I am like extraordinarily high on Harold Fannin Jr. I don't know what kind of role he's going to have. Yeah, I don't know what kind of role he's going to have. I really don't. I just know that they have a role for him. I don't know what this offense is going to look like. I've seen Njoku literally get hurt every single year because I've drafted him very, very frequently. And I almost feel like he will be able to have value even with a healthy Njoku. So he's a guy that I just want on my roster to start the year. We'll see how the first 3 weeks go. Maybe a cut candidate early on, but one of those guys that I feel like,
Fannin?
Fannin. Yeah.
No, you can't cut him. No.
Yeah, I'm not going to cut him. But I think he's definitely one of those guys that is going to be a very hot waiver wire ad after that first week.
Man, that's a good point, though. All these rookies people draft, man, you can't cut these guys after week 1, 2, 3. Like, you have to let it play out. Like, rookies take time to maturate into what they're going to become. We've seen a bunch of rookies that don't even play them again season and go crazy by the end of the year. So
absolutely.
You have to be, if you're going to draft a rookie, you have to be patient.
Absolutely. So I just drafted this team, or I'm still drafting this team right now.
Why are they taking 2 kickers? Is that the team you said was trying to do the first look? Is that the team that took that?
Yep, first look.
Yeah. They're all the way in the first look then.
So honestly, this is kind of why I like drafting after the Thursday game, after the Friday game, saving some bullets for that, because last year people were just going, we were getting Isaiah Likely in the 2nd round, 1st round. Jaden Reed was going in the 2nd round, 3rd round. The board you can see some just crazy things happen right before the season starts.
I'm sorry,
because people want those first look points.
I got to see who this Hankins player is because he's still in the game. And I don't like when there's a guy I do not know about that's getting real run. Yeah, you keep going, Abby. I need to know what analysis is.
No, let me know. Let me know if I need to add him into the queue for this 20th pick.
Real tough.
No, but going back to what you said about Ibuka, I know Jimmy talked about them listing him as their slot, but this is that text message or like that post that you were talking about McMillan. And Ibuka that you were talking about how Sterling Shepard is actually running in the slot. So makes sense.
Yeah.
His name is Dion Hankins, 24-year-old.
Ooh.
5'11", 226. He's an undrafted free agent, so he's a rookie from UTEP. Never heard of this guy in my life.
No.
They're giving him a run over.
I'm gonna have to start looking him up.
If he's
getting burned like this, I have to look. I need to know.
He's running with Caleb with the first team. That is not Kyle Monunga out there. That is not DeAndre Swift out there.
Yeah. That's what Caleb, DJ Moore. Yeah. He's running with the true ones.
So what are we doing with Marshawn Lloyd?
Man. Oh my God.
What are we doing, man?
This is so sad, bro.
Right?
I believed again. Like he brought me in this week. I was like, okay, maybe this is the time. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Man,
like they said today, he's gonna miss Like he's gonna miss.
He said significant time. Is what they said.
Like I'm thinking about dropping him. Right? Yeah. Like what? Like it's a hamstring. You know how hamstrings are. Like that could take a while. And then the fact that he keeps coming back, they might want to rest him even longer. And they've already kind of talked up Chris Brooks, who's gotten first team reps. Emmanuel Wilson, he just got back to practice a week ago too. So I don't know.
That's tough.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You have 2 more picks, Abby. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, 2 more picks.
One in the 17th.
I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but Phil Maffa. I'm not gonna tell you what to do.
Some tells me he's gonna be there for me later on in the draft.
Yeah, man, Hankins is getting tape out there.
Yeah, but man, that's. But you see, like even Jordan Love is like still here in the 17th round, so it's kind of one of those situations where.
You think about 3 quarterbacks?
No. And Geno Smith is enough for me to like not think about 3 quarterbacks because Geno Smith does not get drafted. And if I ever feel like I'm just like really uncomfortable with like my 2 quarterbacks that I drafted, or if I had just want a backup, I know Geno Smith is break glass there.
You know, the crazy thing is like, why don't people like Geno? Because he does run the ball. Like he runs. I'm not saying he's like a crazy runner, but he runs.
But he can scramble. Yeah,
all over the place.
Oof, yeah.
And did you see an offense that runs a lot of plays, right? Chip Kelly tends to, kind of be on the high end of plays. Everything looks good for Geno. He doesn't have anybody behind him that's going to threaten his job, right? So why doesn't anybody like Geno Smith?
I don't think people realize how aggressive of a thrower he is too of the football. Like, and how accurate he is throwing deep too as well. People don't realize that. I think it's maybe just the fact that he's Geno. He was with the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's with the Raiders. There's not, outside of Brock Bowers, there's not a lot of fancy names, but this is one of those situations, again, when I talk about, like, I'm drafting the offensive coordinator and the offensive mind. Like, I'm drafting Chip Kelly here. I'm not saying they're going to run super fast.
But not even that, but Alton Ashton Genty, he catches the ball, right?
Yeah.
So, all Geno got to do is just toss the ball real quick and get the rest. Like, that's still going to be fantasy points for Geno. I don't know.
So Anthony Richardson was like the other guy, and I actually considered him at 17, but I don't like the idea of not at this stage. I mean, I got to be real desperate to take 3 quarterbacks, but he was the other guy. I think he's going to win that job, and this first game, I believe, is against Miami, so not the scariest matchup,
right?
Given his running capabilities,
right.
How did Phil Maffa looking as Dallas? I feel like Dallas didn't really run a lot of plays. I feel like they're just not taking preseason seriously at all.
I didn't watch the game, of course, but when I was reading about it, I think he only got a couple carries in the 3rd quarter. Like I think they were playing Deuce Vaughn for some reason. I don't even know why they're still even trying to make Deuce Vaughn a thing, but
right,
he was the guy there. But everybody keeps talking about how good Maffa looks. Like they like the way he looks. Now, with that being said, Blue didn't play. I think Miles Sanders started.
Yeah.
And Javonte Williams didn't play, so I still want to see what Blue looks like, when the real bullets are flying. Let me really put my eyes on, because everything I know about Blue, honestly, I got from you, Abby, and just what I've read. So I don't really have a good, gauge there.
Yeah, I kind of want to see what he looks like, because maybe I don't even want to say he got pigeonholed at Texas, because Texas gave everybody opportunities. I just can't get that out of my head that he didn't get or look good in Texas, like in between the tackles as an actual running back. He looks great on swing passes or scheme plays where he's like kind of running out of the flag going against, a linebacker that runs a 5-4. Like all those, he's going to look great on tape with that. But how does he look in like a real NFL game?
Right. So you picked up Dameon Pierce, which is the 4th Texans running back drafted in this draft. So you want to speak on your view?
He's a 4th?
Yeah,
like Woody Marks already went.
I think to me, it's just like a big unknown situation. I think we talked about the unknown with Mixon. We know he's probably, I don't know, but unlikely to start the season. But we have just no clue. Like I have no clue what's going on with him. So right now, I'm just potentially he may not even be a factor all year, right? And then you have Nick Chubb, the veteran who's coming in. They didn't pay him a lot of money. I saw play for play, the preseason game, preseason 2. He looked exactly like how he thought he was gonna look. Like he looked like Nick Chubb, looked like a serviceable back, got what was blocked up, didn't look all that explosive. I mean, he's a big guy, he squats a lot, he's gonna be able to move piles, but it just wasn't anything that was just, I don't know. I wasn't enamored with what I saw. I always go back to Dameon Pierce. I know Dameon Pierce burned a lot of people last year, or not last year, I think maybe the year before.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I go back to the offense being different, the running scheme being different. And then if you just turn not the clock back not too far, I think it was the Texans week 7 preseason game, you can't tell me that he doesn't have upside when he rushed for like 190 yards and a touchdown or 2 in that game, right? He broke off like a 90-yard TD run. Like that's upside. That's explosiveness, and we've seen him do it. We also know that he's like a big build. I'm not saying that he's going to be the back, but 18th round, 19th round, 20th round in this type of situation, again, Chubb is coming off of multiple injuries. So even if he is the guy to start off, does he continue to be the guy? We can work another guy in there. This is like one of those, okay, see what happens the first week or 2. Okay, it's not Dameon Pierce, he's third string, or he's just kickoff, so he gets cut. He's out of there. So like you talked about earlier, this is an easy one of those like later round, let's see what happens, picks, shoot for upside, and then, see what happens when the other
Let me ask you a question. If the Commanders trade Brian Robinson, does that shake up a running back room? Or does that pretty much kill Brian Robinson's value? Like, what's going to happen there? Because Brian Robinson's being drafted in 10th round?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there are a few places that he can go. Oh, actually, now you got the wheels turning, because Swift is not playing in Buffalo, right? Or Swift is not playing right now. Roshan's not playing right now. Why are they not playing? Why are they not playing? Right?
Yeah.
Brian Robinson trade talks. Who's calling the Commanders? Right? Is Chicago calling the Commanders? Is Brian Robinson like this guy that can kind of do it all, jack of all trades? Can run what's blocked up for him, protect the ball. Can catch passes. Is he the David Montgomery? So. If he goes to Chicago,
what about the Dolphins?
That's another one. I definitely think it changes, because I still am very scared about the potential that they just don't want to be using a chain around the goal line. And if that's the case, then that like him being like the overall RB1, you're gonna be hard pressed to have him be the overall RB1 if another guy's getting goal line carries, I think.
I wouldn't put past the Texans to trade for a running back too, by the way. Especially if the Chubb thing, not Chubb, I'm sorry, if this Mixon thing doesn't come to a head soon. Like, y'all know the way, what's his name? Nick Caserio can be, man. Like, he'll take a flyer on a guy and, give up draft capital for it, so.
Look, Marshawn just staring at me with that goofy ass smile. I can't do it.
I mean, you can do it. You can do it, and you can drop him, right? You can do it.
Yeah, but like I got a feeling like he's like not going to be healthy to start the year, or like at least just getting healthy right when the year's about to start. And I don't know. I just can't. I got some bags I'm good with. Yeah. All right, Fairbairn, go ahead and or should I take Elliott for the first look?
I'm believing that first look.
First look, yeah.
But Fairbairn, Fairbairn will knock a bunch of 50-yard kicks, broke the record.
Right? Yeah, let's go Fairbairn. I like I don't know. I need somebody to look this up. Does the kicker really correlate with the defense?
I've been trying to figure that out too, man. I've heard that before.
Yeah, I've heard it, right? I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh and Boswell, okay. You can kind of see that a little bit. He was the top kicker last year.
Little was just drafted, Rubio.
Yeah, Cam Little went one pick before me.
See, somebody just said kickers correlate with the running game. I see. I don't even know that. I believe defenses might correlate with the running game. Maybe. Yeah. I'm just taking all this out of my ass, honestly. I don't even know. Like, I need some kind of study done on that specific information.
Right.
That seems like it could be significant.
I think kicker correlates to the quarterback, actually. I always try to get like quarterbacks that are not accurate in the red zone.
So you say it anti-correlates, or I don't even know the proper term.
Yeah, like it
goes opposite. So a bad quarterback will have a good kicker, and a good quarterback will have a bad kicker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or just opportunities, really. Like I don't care about like the talent of the kicker so much. I really care about the opportunities. So like if a quarterback is bad in the red zone, it's not very accurate, that tends to lead to more opportunities for kickers to get, easy points and a lot of field goals. So, and then also coach's philosophy too. Like a coach like Mike Tomlin, right? Like who believes in his defense, like he just wants to put up points like anytime he possibly can. So that's why Boswell was, I think he was kicker number 1 last year, which makes sense. Like that's the trifecta: defensive coach, quarterback that's not very accurate in the red zone. Like that leads to a lot of opportunities for a kicker. So
that makes sense. I'm kicking myself because I completely I had somebody in my queue that I had planned on taking. I just completely forgot that he was there.
Who?
And I was just well, can't say anything now.
You can't take him now. It don't matter unless you're gonna pick him up in waivers.
No, I'm gonna take. No, I got one more pick. I have one more pick.
Are you gonna double up on kicker?
No, not a kicker. A skill player. Yeah, no, not a kicker. If the team ahead of me does not take him, he should fall to me. Should fall to me.
Somebody said, is Tyler Warren really going to ball out? I took him in the 13th round in my home league Friday. You take him in the 13th. That's a good pick. Yeah.
You know why that's such a good pick as well is the fact that he's still a mystery. He's still a mystery box. Like you don't know what's going to happen with him. So it's almost like Bauer. We taking Bowers like in the 9th round last year. Yeah. We knew he was good. He was a top 10 pick, but we weren't sure how good. So it's like the same exact situation.
Yeah.
They could say the same thing for Loveland, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what makes home league so tough. It's like you got to be kind of cautious. You don't be going after all your sleepers and ignoring some of the tried and true guys because Tyler Warren will fall to like the 13th round in your home leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and tight end value gets flat anyways by that time.
Yeah, so.
Dominant does it most.
Yeah,
I'm actually very intrigued to see who Abby's about to take care of.
Okay, he fell. He fell. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not but it's for this type of build, it was a player that I should have taken a while ago, Theo Johnson, as far as having another tight end that could potentially do something. So yeah, that's it.
So nobody's gonna take Phil Maffa, huh? That's fine.
Oh, I forgot about Phil.
That's fine.
Man, it was either him or Pierce.
That's cool. Y'all just do me like that. That's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, I got a couple field bags.
Now the Bears are playing a different running back, somebody number 38. Maybe they're just resting their top 3 guys. Maybe that's just what they're doing.
I'll have to go back and really watch this game, see where all these guys are lined up. Odunze, Moore, Zacchaeus.
All right.
Yeah, so this is it. Any of these other teams y'all like outside of, who's y'all's favorite team?
Let me look at the board on my phone so I can see it a little clearer.
Yeah.
Chris, is there any specific team you like?
Some interesting builds across the board.
I'm going through it now. Like, to be honest, I wasn't even considering Bills. I was just going player to player. So
yeah,
just looking at the Bills now. Let's look at Team 1. They go Chase, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, McLaurin. Yeah, I mean, hold on. Give me a second. Let me take a look at it quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's just kind of just value kind of spread out across the board. I think, a lot of this obviously, which team you like better just kind of comes down to what players are you high on. And but I try to really base it off of builds. What team do I feel has a real shot at,
Team
doing
3.
some damage.
I was gonna say I like what Team 3.
Yeah, team.
Yeah.
Team 3 looks like they have
solid build. Yeah.
Not perfect, but I like their build. Don't know about the third quarterback, but
Team 5, I feel like they took some big swings here.
Team 5 only have four. They only have 4 receivers though.
Yeah, Team 5 is interesting bill. I don't know if I would have necessarily gone that route.
They have 4 receivers, and one of the receivers is hurt right now.
Yeah. Team 7, I feel like maybe, and maybe they just feel very strongly about Mason, J.K., Stevenson, and they obviously could work out. I feel like if I'm gonna go that type of build, I maybe attack running backs a little bit more than kind of what they did.
I agree. I agree with that sentiment.
So
I like the way they started though.
All right, so we do have one last thing on the item checklist, I think, right? We had to.
Nope. You talking about the draft?
Yeah. Let me. We need to pull that out. So most of the listeners, you guys probably are not too interested in, but we were asked to help set the draft order for a league. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I feel very honored to do so.
Yeah, that's kind of dope.
Yeah, it's kind of dope because I feel like I am deciding face.
To shout him out, it's Draft Hustle. On Twitter, at Draft Hustle. So he sent us a message on Twitter.
And this is a 12-team league, right?
He's actually in the chat. I see him right there, Draft Hustle TV. So we're doing this for you right now.
Yeah, we're doing this for you. Yeah. Dave, you mind sending the I'm trying to find the
You talking about the names of the teams?
Yeah.
Let me send it again real quick.
We should each just pick one.
We do it in order, like a snake.
Yeah, like a snake. We each pick one.
I'm gonna put it in the group chat right now. So,
all right.
Let's see. All right, y'all gonna have to open up the picture, but there it goes right there. Y'all got it?
Okay. All right. So
who picks first?
Let me have the honors of going first.
Okay, you go first.
We are definitely not going with Draft Hustle. We love you. You were day one, but we can't give you the number one pick.
Well, it's not. No. He didn't say. No. Wait. Let me tell you what the actual message was.
Oh, okay.
He's like, Okay, so he said a few things. And they was like, for his league, they draw names for round 1.
Okay.
And they snake back for round 2. They redraw for round 3, and then they snake back for round 4. And then they redraw one last time for round 5 and use that for the order for the remainder of the draft. So he wanted us to basically pick the order for each redraw. I'm guessing the order for them to actually draw it out, or maybe we're picking the actual order. I'm not sure.
So they may be like designated a number, and then those numbers get drawn out.
Yeah.
With each round. Okay. All right. Well, knowing that, Draft Hustle, you get the number 1 overall pick. Draft Hustle, congratulations. You got the 101 or the number 1, whatever we want to call it.
Okay, so he got number 1. So Chris,
all right, I'm gonna go BJ Chill with the number 2 pick.
Okay.
Oh damn, you sniped me.
I'm gonna take Rashee JW.
Okay.
The third.
Okay. Number 4, I'm gonna go Coffee Bandit.
Okay.
All right. Number 5, I'm gonna take EDP 124.
Okay.
Number 6. We're doing the first draw.
Oh, we're doing multiple draws. Okay. I'm gonna go with XG for the win because he has the little gold medal on his name, so he's a winner, and I believe in winners. So I'm going with him next.
All right. Next up, take the top off.
Damn, that's what I was going. All right.
Yeah.
You got me right there, Chris.
All right, I'm gonna go YZFR1 Mike.
Okay. I'm gonna go with TD's 904.
Okay.
All right.
We got 3 left, right?
All right. Act the Don 904.
All right. Let's see. Have we picked
We got 2 left.
XG4. Oh, no. We already picked that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who's left?
I think it's Rashee and Shanda got B.
Correct. Those are the last 2
The
left.
last 2.
I'm gonna go with Shan, the GOAT, probably B. Shan the GOT.
No,
B.
it's the GOT. Yeah, it's the GOT. So I guess I got Rashee 0327. Congratulations,
Yes.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yes.
All right, there it is.
Yeah.
I got y'all's slots for each of the rounds.
We got some special stuff coming up. Be sure to kind of tap in because we got something coming up this week for y'all.
Yes.
Not to mention the draft on Thursday. We got something else on Wednesday. So definitely tap in. You know, you'll see what that is when it happens. Subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Subscribe. We're trying to get those numbers up quite a bit. And we're trying to put out more content. So comment, send us like Draft Hustle did, send us messages on Twitter. We read all of them. You know, if y'all want us to do something like that, we'll do it again or whatnot. Anything else, Chris?
Abby? No, man, that's it, man. That's it.
All right.
Like, subscribe. We'll catch y'all next episode.
Yes, sir. We're out.
We're out.